Hi, I'm Christina, and we are heading straight for 2018. No doubt, 2017 has been an extremely prophetic year, and a lot of people have been a bit confused as to what is going to happen when we're um, seeing a need for things to kind of happen now, that instant gratification that we're used to happen now. And we just need to understand that a lot of these things are happening over a period of time. But because some of those realities are being missed, and we do have that heightened sense of awareness that this is heading somewhere fast, there's this added anxiety and stress to the patient's issue that's, it's coming from it. So I thought it would be a good idea to kind of maybe put our hands on where we think we need to be going in 2018, right? Because last year we talked about this needing to be a revival, and that the revival needed to start in us. And I think that there were some really great examples this year of, just that. And it just seems like we can feel God's presence around us. It's working, right? But there's a lot of things that are going on that are scary. And they're heartbreaking, and a lot of the issues are hitting home, like here, hitting deep. And you might know what it is that you have to do, but sometimes things are easier said than done, like forgiveness. And I know that if it wasn't such an issue, I wouldn't still be here. I wouldn't have gotten my second chance to try to get it right again if I was just the only one with a forgiveness and anger and temper issue problem, right? There's a consequence to this anger and this resentment, and the what begets and keeps going and going. It's a never ending cycle that just actually seems to get worse, and after time it just seems like a fight you can't win. What is all this adding up to, right? It is coming right to Matthew 24:12, and it says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." We want to talk about revival starting in us, then we're going to have to learn exactly what it is that forgiveness really means. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can be perfect friends with a toxic person. Forgiveness, you have to sometimes give over and over again. But, dangerous people, you can't necessarily hang around dangerous people and expect not to get hurt. Some people you just have to forgive and back away from. But in a lot of cases, that's not what needs to be done. Forgiveness can go a lot further, you know, and when you look at it in the context of your personal life right now, who is it you need to forgive? And in some cases, you need to forgive yourself. I know there's people out there, it's not an issue of forgiving others, it's forgiving yourself. And believe it or not, some of you might not believe this, but some of you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you are having a hard time forgiving God. When you come across that realization, it's a real shocker. But, you know, there there's that part of you that's saying, well, why did God allow this to happen to me? And if we can't get that peace, if we can't figure out how to get that locked down in us, considering that the world is getting colder, it's getting more violent, how are we going to handle things when they get harder down the line? How are we going to be anchored to our faith? And one of the things God had told me was that resentment and grudges were a form of hate that separates you from Him. So if you're looking down on others, judging others, or mad because, somebody close to you didn't live up to your potential, the bottom line is nobody ever is going to live up to what you think they should be. I don't think a lot of us have lived up to what we thought we should be. If you're looking for us to be perfect as a whole, we're going to disappoint you every time. So you're going to have to get your frame of mind into a more appreciative frame of mind, to really look at the heart. What makes it even more interesting is that 1 John 3:15 says that whosoever hates his brother is the same as a murderer. And it's hard to swallow that, that if you don't forgive somebody, if you don't just hate what they have done, you hate them, no matter who it is, even a serial murderer, that you are the same as a murderer, because everybody's really your brother. If you want to get technical about it, everybody is your neighbor. If you want to get technical, you're supposed to love your neighbor as you love yourself, and that sometimes can be easier said than done. But there are some really great examples out there of Christians forgiving, murderers of someone that were close to them, like their son, their husband, And they're very compelling stories of forgiveness, true forgiveness. And forgiveness has power. It changes lives, okay? It's not the easiest thing to do, but when you start learning to forgive, no matter who it is you have to forgive, whether it's you, God, or someone else, something takes that place of hurt that was in you. Something replaces that. It doesn't just stay an empty place. It fills up with something different. And that, if you want to talk about how Christians aren't ready, this is it. This is the key to not being ready. Because we're going to have to exercise an abundant amount of patience and forgiveness and compassion during these days, and guard our hearts. So what is that going to bring for us in the new year? How is that going to get us to where we need to be in 2018? Well, we did a lot in 2017. We made a lot of important steps. Okay, the seed's been planted, it's sprouted, now it's time for it to grow. I've got soul food here for you, okay? You always have to be working in here, and when you are working inside here, then you can better see what you need to be doing out here, because you stop looking at everybody else like a bunch of aliens. You look at them as little pieces of you everywhere, that you can see a little bit of yourself in that person, a little bit of what you've done in that person, a little bit of what you thought of this person, yourself when you were young in this person, You've got to change your perceptions and start seeing opportunity in others, and grace. This year, I want you to think about what it is that is still in you that is holding you back. I want you to learn how to let go, because in the end, nothing is going to fill that place. Nothing is going to satisfy that hurt in you. Not money, not fame, not cars, not all the friends in the world, because you're always going to feel like something's missing. We're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. Every minute that we have, God hasn't come yet. We're not ready. What is it we're still missing? And I think that this is the next step, is that we're going to have to spend this next year learning exactly what forgiveness is and watching what we say, because what we say, our words have power. And what's more is the lives that you touch others. So if you touch somebody in a negative way, it stays with them during that day, and it affects whoever they touch from there on. So it just keeps branching out. It's the snowball that just gets huge and out of control. And there's only one way to stop that, and it starts right here. That's the moment when you have a decision on how you're going to handle not just them, but yourself, and how what you are fixing to do is going to affect others. Because love is contagious, all right? And it is so much more powerful than all of this hate out there. Miracles happen because of forgiveness. We're going to have to be better examples. And I feel that as long as we are in our bodies and on this earth, that there is always something that we need to be learning. No matter how old we are, no matter how young we are, there's always something next that we need to achieve, accomplish, or overcome. Learn. So this year, I want to lift all of you up so that you can have that real peace that goes beyond understanding, even in the middle of a raging storm. That's what I want you to have this year, so that revival will not just start in you, it will start coming out of you. And that without even thinking twice, without even knowing how it's going to happen, you're going to start affecting the people's lives around you in a better way. Because something's got to combat that iniquity that's abounding, that cold and bitterness that is growing in people's hearts. All right, as Christians, we've got to let our light shine, and light will thaw out that heart. Okay, let it start with yours. All right, God bless you all, and I hope you have a really great new year. I'll talk to you soon.